Everyone keeps telling us to grind harder, to hustle more, work those 80-hour work weeks, and then everything will be okay. No, but what if the whole grind harder mentality is, more stupid and more dangerous to your health than you think? Or is hustle culture a lie? And I think that it is a interesting thing to ask because the whole hustle and grind thing was a thing, 10 or 15 years ago, but luckily, I think that concept has been getting more criticism, and there's a lot more people changing their minds on it, which is healthy because technically working more hours isn't going to make you successful or any wealthier. And that's really the main point that I want to drive home in this video. So, going back to 10 years ago, I bought into the whole hustle culture, especially when I was starting on my career. I had this urge to want to make more money and feeling that I had to, make more income, which I think everyone desires to have more income and so forth. But there was a part of me thinking that I needed to do more because the job or my main job I was at just wasn't enough. And so I think, at the time I was working my corporate job, those side projects and those extra tasks, you know, I made money, but I also lost a lot of sleep, and my mental health was suffering at the time, and there were times where I just felt burned out, and even on my days off I didn't want to do anything. And so, with that, I was really exhausted, and I made little progress, and I felt really trapped as well. So, and the moment that I stopped trying to outwork everyone and just working smarter, especially with what I'm doing right now, and I'm really narrowing it down to only a few things that I want to do. That was a really eye-opening moment. Something that I've been doing over the last year or two, and I'm really finally honing in on this year because living life. There's much more to it than just working and hustle and grind and so forth. So I think that mentality has really destroyed a lot of people over the years, and I think the whole hustle culture is not going to be a thing probably in the next 5 to 10 years as people look for other ways to make income or they want to work less. And I think it's a good trend. But, if you're someone who is in the 9 to 5 right now and you're constantly told to grind harder, but, you're burned out and so forth, then hey, I get it. So, dropping the hustle mentality, it can be one of the best moves that you can make if you fall for that work hard mentality. So, men our age are being sold the idea that more hours and more hustling just equals success. But what we're seeing, it doesn't work. And all it just leads is to burnout, bad health, and just being stuck in doing work that doesn't matter, or it just leads to even more burnout. And so, with hustle culture, it keeps you trading your time for money instead of building systems that actually create freedom for yourself. So, rejecting the grind, it gives you the leverage that you need to stay employed for now while quietly, building something better on your own terms. So, those are some things to keep in mind. And some key takeaways that I want to bring up in this video include the following. So, the first one is that grinding harder does not create more freedom. All it just does is creates more work for you. And like I mentioned before, this is what I went through, in prior years, and it just didn't lead to more success or more happiness in my life. Number two, smart systems beat brute force every time. And, you know, whether you're starting your business, you're investing, or even simple repeatable habits, it gives you better returns than time and so forth, or than working extra hours. You know, you don't want to end up with more stress and then have less time for the things that actually move the needle. And then finally, number three, anti hustle, or what we're seeing right now, I think is the real rebellion. I think there is a little bit of awakening going on right now when it comes to hustle culture and what people really want to get out of in their life. And I think that, you know, it's healthy to see that more people are moving away from that hustle and grind mentality. So it lets you protect your energy. You can focus on things that matter to you most, work on high leverage activities, and you will reach your financial freedom much faster, without destroying yourself in the process. So, yeah, the whole grind harder culture is pretty much stupid at this point. I mean, at the time, it's a lot of people bought into that idea, but with where we're at today, you know, I firmly believe that people don't want to work more hours, and I get it. There are a lot of people who have no choice but to work extra hours, or they have to work 80 hours or more a week, and it just becomes a little bit of a trap, and it's an obligation to help them keep the lights on, and they got to pay the bills. So, if you really think about it, the whole hustle and grind thing just leads to more misery. You lose a lot more time, and uh, it moves you further away from achieving your goals in life. So, you know, you don't have to work more to get ahead. All you have to do is just learn how to work smarter and just stop buying into the lie of hustle, hustle, hustle until you drop dead. Because I think that is a recipe for disaster. So, that definitely is something to keep in mind of, and you don't want to be, going on down this path of having to work more and so forth. But that's what I wanted to bring up because I know hustle culture was a thing, and but now it really isn't, and so forth. So I talk a lot about, well, not about hustle culture specifically, but I talk a lot about, the, some of the common paths that people take in life. And, hustle culture can be part of one of those paths. And I go more into depth into kind of what people should be doing or what people are doing, and then what people should be doing instead. And if you're interested in learning more about this stuff, you can check out my latest ebook called Three Paths, Three Prisons, Freedom or Indentured Servitude. And in this book, I lay out the three most common paths that people take in life. And I also provide another alternative that people can take if they want to opt out of the path that they're on. It's a really good book, and I believe the alternative that I present in the book is by far going to be the best thing that you can do uh, for your future. So if you're interested in checking out that ebook, check it out via the link in the video description below. You can also scan the QR code at the end of the video and give it a read. So I think you'll enjoy it, and you'll get another great perspective on how to know what you can do else in life. So check out my ebook, and you'll get on my email list. And after that, you will get your free copy of it right away, and maybe you'll get a lot out of it. I think you will. So that's all I got. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about hustle culture today? Do you think it's still a thing, or you think it's dying, or do you think we are kind of moving away from the hustle and grind culture? Let me know below, and I'll look forward to reading them. Other than that, that's all I got. Till next time, peace.